two goalkeeping errors. One was a shot that he should have gathered. He spills that, and then he tries to make a tackle, causes a foul, and that's a penalty. The other one is a shot that was parried back into play. That's goal number 3. So, Jay, do you think Nwabali had his head in the game? Do you think something else is bothering him?
There was something else bothering him. So after the match, we saw Coach Nabi go up to Nwabali, and he had quite the conversation with him out on the field, right? And the speculation from most people was that he was coaching him up or he was tapping him up in terms of coming to Kaizer Chiefs, because these are conversations that have been going. The rumors we've heard that Kaizer Chiefs will be looking for a goalkeeper, and the one who is at the top of their shopping list is Nwabali. And it left a bad taste in some people's mouths in terms of why is he having that conversation so publicly with him. And then when you actually follow the story, and this was from reporting from Far Post in terms of revealing what that conversation out on the field was about between Coach Nabi as well as the Chippa United goalkeeper Nwabali.
Yeah.
It was surrounding the passing of Nwabali's parents, because Coach Nabi also lost his dad not too long ago. So he was offering his condolences to Nwabali. And in terms of the performance we saw from Nwabali, and the question you asked, was his head completely in the game? It doesn't seem to be. And Coach Thabo September, he came out and spoke about the fact that Nwabali actually asked him not to play. In his words, the coach, that Nwabali pleaded not to play because he's not in the right frame of mind to play. And Thabo then Coach Thabo offered as well, that he, considering that Nwabali is the number one goalkeeper and is one of their better players, we saw he was part of an integral part of Nigeria going to the final of the AFCON. The coach pretty much said that he forced him to play, Chuck. And he later then offered that he is a young coach and he's learning the ropes. But it was disappointing to hear that. When the player says that he's not in the right frame of mind to play, and the reasons for it are because, as I mentioned, he's lost both of his parents within the space of 2 months, I believe. That's what you get, and it's disappointing that the recognition or the realization comes after you see the performance on the field, when the player did tell you, because it was not a matter of, well, he gave that performance and you are scratching your head wondering what is happening, and then when you go to question him later, or you speak to his teammates or whatever the case may be, then you find out that this is what has happened, and you ask the player, why didn't you come to me? And these are the things we speak about when we're talking about mental health in terms of players. And we know in sport, which is like hyper masculine, and these are the conversations we've tried to introduce into the game, where players are comfortable, not even speaking to us, but within the confines of the home that is the club, where you can go to the coach and say, Angiko Sharp, this is what is happening, and I'm not asking to take the entirety of the season off, but even in other workplaces, you do get compassionate leave when we're talking about his parents, both of his parents, in a short space of time. You would have hoped there would be greater understanding and more grace that is offered to him, where they can say, something is happening in your life that is bigger than football right now, and you can take that time off, because he has been a great servant for this club. He's the captain of the club, and he's dare I say, earned that. And if not that, like, what are the policies within the club? Because we've seen situations where we hear from commentary once a game starts that a player is missing because of a family bereavement, know. So for that not to have been offered to Nwabali, it's disappointing. And it gives greater context as to why we saw the performance that we saw from Nigeria and the Chippa number one keeper. But to not completely throw Coach Thabo September under the bus, and to not completely trample him, he's the one who offered this information, and then said that it's something to learn from. Because what I got from him speaking about that was, while he was watching the performance from Nwabali play out, it came to him that I did not act in good faith towards the player, and I did not take the right decision in this moment, and it's a moment to learn.
Yeah, moment to learn. Yeah, but it was not handled properly, Jay, because it's not
No,
a
it wasn't.
confidence. It's not a confidence issue in terms of the only way to get back onto the horse is to keep riding again. Play, and as soon as you get a good performance, you'll be good. Because even if Chippa wins, doesn't put Nwabali in a good headspace because that's not why he's in the doldrums or why he's not particularly himself. So if he says I'm not good and the reasons are not football related, then you allow him that space here because you could see by the concession of the goals, it was not skills related, which is Nobody's not good enough. He was
His focus was not there.
yeah, he got to the balls. He was there at the right place at the right time. But if you look at the second goal, for instance, it's a matter of focus. Make sure it goes into the bread basket. Make sure you gather the ball. But because his mind perhaps was elsewhere, and after the conceding of the actual penalty, how long he stayed on the ground, you actually would have thought he was injured. Maybe would have been on another bad moment in my life. Another, you know what I mean? And so maybe because now you're offering that information, I look at that particular moment differently because he was down for a while. I thought to myself, what's up? But get up and try to save the penalty, you know? So maybe that was playing on his mind for a little while. But I think, yeah, I mean, great for Thabo September to then say, okay, I got that one wrong, you know? Great for him to own up to that. But yeah, that's the issue with mental health. If I've already spoken up and I've said I can't and here are my reasons, surely that should hold some weight. It's one thing if I'm holding it in and you can tell by my performances that not everything is fine. But if I've said it, allow me that space. So
It's taking us backwards.
yeah. I mean, so he tried. He played on the day as well as he could, but ultimately, I mean, play someone else because judging by the display of the 10 outfield players, it didn't matter who was in goal because they weren't that much of a threat. Chiefs were going to win anyway. So I guess he
Yeah,
learns.
Chuck. It's that putting a win, potential win, and we know the further you advance in the cup, the more prize money you get, and it just doesn't feel right. Like we know that guys are there to play, they're paid to play, they're there to work. This is their occupation. They've got contracts. They've got a responsibility to show up on the field for the team, but we talk about football as a family or a brotherhood, and like we are together in everything that we go through. And then someone has this level of tragedy before them, and there's no one within the leadership structures who is able to say, "Wait a minute, guys." I don't think this is the decision we need to take. Yes, we recognize that this is an important player for us and there is a great opportunity in front of us, but at what cost? Because and the question is at what cost to the team, Chuck? Because how do you trust that? You hope that they were able to speak about this and are able to move forward in it like in a healthy manner, but there's the possibility that it could sever the trust between the player and the coach and the leadership and then the rest of the players in the dressing room, because you look and you see how the organization treats situations like that, and you start making decisions in your head as well in terms of, well, if this happens to me, I'm not coming forward with this, or maybe this is not the place I want to be at because I see how they treat us. And as I'm saying, maybe that's making a mound into a mountain, but the possibilities are there because as we're talking about, this was an opportunity to listen and to hear, and then to it's not even rocket science in terms of what was the right way to react here. And also we're not talking about the fact that Chippa don't have any other goalkeepers. There's a goalkeeping crisis over there, and he absolutely had to play. Yes, you can make that argument because it's a cup game and it's a knockout game, but in terms of the greater picture, they did a disservice to the player and to the players within that dressing room. But as I'm saying, the hope is considering the words of the coach afterwards that okay, there's been reflection that has happened and there is a commitment to doing better going forward, and hopefully it's exactly what we see going forward.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that, Jay, that sometimes when tragedy strikes or when things happen that remind you that there are bigger things in football, these are some of those key indicators that, wait, let's hold up a bit. There's something else. He's more than a goalkeeper. You know what I mean? There's something else going on in his life, and you think about that.
Let's think
But I
about the
also
human
think,
behind the player.
yeah. I also think to myself, sometimes, because I remember that I keep referring to this note that Rolania wrote to Umda when he was injured. Sometimes coaches are just in the zone. They don't quite see, this guy is injured. He can't go on. You want him and you see his qualities and you look at the state of the game and you think we can win with this guy. He can't do it. Thabo September saw Nwabali and is like, this is my guy for the game. he can't do it. That's the other thing. He can't, because where is he playing? FNB is going to be a cauldron with the pressure turned all the way up. Who are they playing? Kaizer Chiefs as well. So is it the situation that you want to put him into? I don't know. So, but I think, as you said, he's owned up to it. And I think hopefully there's learning from there on.